Source from the Pharaoh. I do this for my kings, rocking kingdom apparel. Source from a Pharaoh. I do this for my queens, rocking kingdom apparel. Source from the Pharaoh. I do this for my kings, rocking kingdom apparel. Source from the Pharaoh. I do this for my queens, rocking kingdom apparel.
Don't need to recount the votes. I'm here to destroy all your hopes, dreams, aspirations. It's like poetry with musical inclinations. I see you peripherally, breathe easily, step lightly like on eggshells, or see real shells. I ring bells, bling bling is green. Don't necessarily need to be seen, but I do need to be heard. In my brain I've accumulated mucho verbs. I'm taking herds to the third curve, tentacles reaching up into the suburbs. 10 o'clock, do you know where your child is at? Inside of a room, all black, grown men beats, that's where we at. As I stack chips, pockets ain't made of glass, so you can't see me dip.
Source from the Pharaoh. I do this for my kings, rocking kingdom apparel. Source from a Pharaoh. I do this for my queens, rocking kingdom apparel. Source from the Pharaoh. I
do this for my kings, rocking kingdom apparel. What?
I do this for my kings, rocking kingdom apparel. Source from the Pharaoh. I do this for my queens, rocking kingdom apparel. Came from the water, evaporated moisture, wavy wave in here. I do it for the culture, cipher, music.
Evaporated moisture, respect onto the one. Waviest one. Smoke it down with the man that said, respect. European record man along with G Mike and Uri and Susan all these, so patient still here. Aye. Source from the Pharaoh. We do this for the king. Rocking kingdom apparel. Source from the Pharaoh. We do this for the queens, rocking kingdom apparel. You already know, bro. Where we at? We find the kingdom apparel again for them one more time. Because kingdom apparel is banging. Here comes my man G Mike in the building right here, so just gonna go to that one time. Yes, sir.
Greetings. Greetings, one and all. Assalamu alaikum. It is the first day of Ramadan. So to all you Muslims out there, we know you have a rough month ahead. You know, everybody fast from sunrise to sunset. Welcome to our podcast for today, Friday. It is February 28th, no leap year this year. And you don't get that extra day. You go straight into March. And people, I don't know how old you are, but I can remember looking forward to Y2K. We are already 2 months into 2025. That's 25 years more. Went just like that. All that happened, all that was supposed to happen, seems to be happening. This is some crazy times. We have a lot to talk about tonight. Things happening right, left, and center. Not to mention that Trump just kicked Zelensky out of the White House. I'm with Trump on this one, I'm telling you, because that war was unnecessary. That war, they had no reason to be killing all those people in Ukraine. Let's not start with Palestine because that's another one. And I don't know what's happening there, but they seem to be. Did you see the video about the Trump Gaza? Trump is going to build a casino there, a big tower, and a big statue, golden statue of himself. Trump, listen, put that in downtown New York City, you know. And I don't know if the New Yorkers are going to allow you to do that. But I'm thinking that it's time to end all these wars. These are innocent people that are dying. Children, people, women that know nothing about war. Don't pick up and don't give me that foolishness about they're using them as human shields. Because if I'm fighting with somebody and they pick up a child, he can get away. I am not going to continue my assault. I am not going to make no child no collateral damage of no anger that's within me. I don't care what they did. I'm just saying, it is not a good excuse to tell me that you're killing only 40,000 people, women and children, dead, dismembered, ruined for life. It is no fun at all. So I heard also that we had some oh, here comes Susan. Um, Susan, I hope you'll grace us on the show because I saw you the week I was out. I got the rerun of that, and you did a fantastic job. And in fact, I was thinking myself, maybe Susan should have joined me one evening so let's see how this works out. No, uh, let me test
Hi,
that
Mr.
chemistry. How are you?
Hi, Mr. J. Michael. I was trying to fill your gap while you were away. It was
You
very
did well.
hard.
You did
But
admirably.
give me a couple seconds. I'm trying to get Mr. Cyril Ure on
All
connected
right.
to the live stream.
By
Okay,
all
I'll be
means,
able
by all
to.
means, go ahead. I'll wait. I'll wait for you. Yeah. I was talking about the news out of Belize. We discussed that when our panel gets here. But there's one that struck me that I understand now that two UB students drowned in Guanacaste Park. And Guanacaste Park people are one of the most fabulous, Eden-like atmosphere in Belize. It's right at where the Hummingbird meets the Western Highway, now the George Price Highway. But it's also where the Roaring Creek that runs down through, from which that village is named, meets the Belize River. And normally the river is warm and the creek is cool. So it's a nice experience to jump from one to the other. It's a very dangerous area, I'll tell you that. And I think they need a lot more security because those hooligans from Roaring Creek, they're not nice. They run crazy. They think they could do what they want to do. So, and the police gonna have to deal with that. The police, again, also in the news this time, not for anything good at all. We don't know what's going on, but apparently this body that was dismembered and left in a garbage bag, they are tying that to either drug dealers local or cartel from across the border. And apparently there's a note that was left naming a couple of police officers. I don't know how they're going to handle that because if Chester is talking about just transferring them, you might need a little more investigation than that. This is a dead body you have here, a vicious crime, a message sent. We'll have to find out exactly what is going on, what we can do to address this. This is not Belize. And you know, it's sad because I thought about that also when I thought about the three girls that were found dead in the hotel room. And it's, in Belize, and it was big thing on the news. We had nothing to do with that. That are three kids having fun, partying, dealing with this very dangerous drug known as fentanyl. And I was reading up on it, folks. Fentanyl is supposed to be 30 to 50 times more potent than heroin. Heroin will kill you. Heroin is also very potent. It is one step above cocaine, which prolonged use and extensive use can also kill you. And that then is the one that steps up above others. There's other like PCP and a couple of other dangerous drugs, but then above all that is marijuana. I believe that marijuana should not be illegal because marijuana does not kill you. Marijuana make you sleepy, marijuana make you happy, marijuana make you horny. It depends on what mood you're in when you smoke or what kind you smoke when you're in such mood. But I would advise anyone who smokes marijuana to do it tonically. Because here's something that a lot of marijuanas don't know, and I'm telling you this from decades of use. High kill high. You can't get only higher. You can only get so high. You can't get higher than that when you get high there. All right. So you smoke your thing, enjoy yourself, mellow, and use the high to do some meditation and thinking, and then go on about your day. You don't go, you know, the social status nowadays with particular young boys in the hood is this right here. Watch my hand as I crush the weed in my palm. You see them standing on the street side doing it, all in the yard, everywhere. Everybody's doing. You go to the party, everybody's crushing. Look like they get more high out of crushing the weed than smoking it. And then they want to smoke continually. I saw some kids at a wake and they were talking about getting high. And the guy said, I want to try the bomb, I want to try that thing, and the thing I want to try all of them. Fool, if you're trying one each day, you're going to get so high, and after that, you're going to get stupid. Or you're going to do something stupid, which you will regret. So, we are sailing into March. You know, it's dry season in Belize. And yeah, I was talking about the kids that drowned in Guanacaste. And I grew up swimming in that river. I love the Belize River. I love river swimming, though we're always aware of the dangers. Number one, there are undercurrents. The currents running one way while the tap running the other way. If you panic, and the key is always, I always told my son, the number one rule in life: do not panic, never panic. So if you panic, you're in the trouble. Sometimes they're also in the river eddies. You see them going, swirling around and around and around. That could pull you in. Swim away from them. Don't go there. There are stuff floating underneath that you don't see that might have been left there from the flooded days coming down the river at some point. That could cause a problem for you. There's the occasional alligator. You need to look out for them, or crocodile. I don't know which one is there. And then, of course, there's the rumor, the old, I don't know if it's old wives' tale, but it's been proven true too many times. My father used to tell me, son, every year before this river clean up nicely, he gonna carry somebody. And to help me, every year you're gonna hear somebody gone. And that opens the season. I would say to you, do not let that scare you. Don't let it stop you from enjoying your summer. There's nothing like summer in Belize, and our summer is our dry season. You know, hurricane season is from June to November, but the rainy season is from June to February. It can rain anytime during that time, and usually does, though you'll have occasional dry spell and nice spells. Nice climate Belize has. But when you hear March jump here, Baron Bliss Day, and we sail into April, May, brother, there is nowhere quite as pleasant as Belize during those months. I see Susan is on again. I must be still trying to get our other guest on. Here we go. Is he coming on?
Hi, Mr. Reid. So we have Mr. Jose Luis Espat, who was supposed to join us tonight.
Yes.
And he's not gonna be able to make it maybe tonight, but he might be able to join us later on in the show. But we know I do want to make mention of him. He is running for the UDP
Yes.
in the Albert division in Belize City, and we were very excited to hear from him. But he is not gonna be able to really join us for sure today. But he will try to join us next week, Friday.
Jose, we promised him last week, and I was all set to go tonight with him. I was concerned though when I read his latest post. I don't know if you saw it on Facebook, where he was warning the police department that if they did not release the names and all the information about the death that happened in Corozal, that he would do so.
Okay.
I don't know. He's been to that spot before. He's been in situations where he has claimed to know some things that are dangerous. I was hoping he wouldn't release it on this show, because we don't want to be held liable. We don't know if we can't verify things like that. We certainly don't want to run with it,
Right.
So if he comes on, he can speak to us about his candidacy.
Yes, for sure. That's what we are interested in, is
All
about,
right.
why is he running? What is his plan for his area? Does he need any help with his campaign funding? That's what we're really, really about, is being
Now,
able to talk to the people directly and not really get involved in any propaganda or scandal that is not legally, we're not legally involved in.
verifiable.
Right, right.
Listen, speaking of campaign funding, um, these people seem to spend a lot of money on these campaigns. Why?
Yes. Well,
Um,
it's expensive.
why?
Why is it expensive?
Right.
Or why do they spend a lot of the money on the campaign?
The two. I mean, they're
The two
spending
of
because it's
them.
expensive. Why? Why?
I don't have a specific reason why they do. I think it's just tradition, where political parties been doing that for years, where they do require some funds to run an election, whether it's transportation or
Yeah,
um,
okay, but
in business.
let's introduce Cyril.
Yes.
Cyril, hi, you made it on. Good to see you.
Right, greetings.
Respect every time. Tell us a bit about Cyril. Where does Cyril hail from, and what's Cyril's claim to fame?
Cyril Uruwe Garcia. I am a Dangrigana, born in Dangriga, Belize.
Mm-hmm.
I lived about 15 years in the United States.
Okay.
I gave my Reader's Digest of this tour this morning. Pardon me, I up from 4 o'clock back to back. And like 3 hours sleep. So
Well, try and make it exciting enough that you're not drop asleep.
good.
Yeah, man. So,
Yeah,
what part of the US?
area. Yeah, man. I used to live in the US, and I said every morning I would wake up at a certain time to make sure that I catch the news, Love FM, Creme, because I wanted to stay connected with what was happening back home. And oftentimes it's just negative news I keep hearing. So I started this online magazine called Belize in America, where I would go around and interview people, try to get success stories, documenting cultural events, September celebration, and all that good stuff. I would come to Belize, November celebrations, Garifuna Survival Day. And, people catch on to it. People start liking it here in Belize, in the United States. Fast forward in, I believe it was 2018, I decided that was my last trip to Belize, and I decided I'm just going to stay, right? I immersed myself among my people, the culture. I observed so many things that were wrong, and I thought to myself, man, like this could be better, right?
You
The
think you
last
can help?
What's that?
You think you can help?
I know I can help, G Mike. I know I can help. What the genesis of when I really decided to take it serious was when I had a personal experience with our era rep. I didn't decide at that time that I wanted to engage and get into politics. I just committed to myself, to my mind. I said, man, there's something we got to do. There's a problem here in Dangriga and it needs to be fixed. So yes, I think I can fix it, but I know you have many other questions.
Yes, so you're running for office this election, is that it?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, and what banner?
Independent. My color is gold.
Do you think the independent's gonna break through at some point? Because they haven't been able to so far.
You know, G Mike, where this is an exciting time for Dangriga. As a matter of fact, this is an exciting time for Belize. You have to be here to see it, to witness it, and to feel the pulse. Everybody
Yeah.
is excited. Everybody is having their own little gossip.
So
I'm
you
used
believe it?
to, sorry,
You believe anything can happen? It can happen.
anything can happen. Yeah, this can go anyway, right?
Uh, let,
This can go
let
in
me
any
let me
direction.
yeah, let me introduce Joe before you go forward. Joe Coy,
Sure.
of course, is our regular host. He dumped me last week, but we forgive him for that. And you guys did an honorable job the week before when I was under the knife. Things are a little better. I can tell you, it's progressing slowly and painfully, but I feel movement. No, so I'm happy about that. Welcome, Joe. Joe, do you know Cyril?
Well, I don't know who is it, and I don't know any longer in Belize, but I probably do not know enough about him. But I
All
guess
right.
are a kind of active citizenship. No?
We'll find out. We'll find out tonight because obviously, Cyril spent some time in the U.S. like I did. What state did you hang out in, Cyril?
I lived in Orange County, California for about 13, maybe 12 years, and then I moved to Chicago.
Oh, okay. You hit the big time.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I did 14 years in New York and 7 in LA. And the 14 in New York was sandwiched between those 7. So I did 7 in New York, went to LA for 7, and went back to New York for 7. So I saw a lot of interesting things. I want to ask you, because you said you were asking people over there in the diaspora questions about Belize, because you were getting mostly negative from Belize. Did you get a different feedback from the folks over there? Did you find that they had a different view of Belize?
Is this question to me?
Yes, that's to you.
When I in reference to the negative that I was talking about, that is not recent. I was referring to while living in the States.
Right.
I would, get on the news and I hear a lot of, we're not covering the positive things that people are doing,
Well, that's
right?
present. That's still happening.
That's still happening. So hence the reason I came up with that idea to quote
Correct.
unquote do it myself. They
Yeah.
say be the change you want to see. So that's what I did.
But you
But
said you were asking people over there. Yeah.
sorry?
You're asking people over there questions about Belize. Did you get a different feedback? Did you? Because I find that many are in the diaspora, there are a couple on Facebook that really don't talk good about Belize all the time, which is unfortunate. Did you get a positive feedback when you were asking them the questions?
When the interviews were mainly based on their accomplishments, what they are doing. It was
Right.
more to highlight the good in everybody or in our culture among our people. So it wasn't much to talk about issues that's facing Belize.
Right. Now, did you get a sense that a number of them might be considering coming back to Belize?
I don't no. I mean not at the time. No.
Yeah, that interesting because I think we need the brain from our diaspora. There was a brain drain in 61 and then again in 1981. And then along the line, a lot of our brilliant people have gone to the US looking for a better life.
Mhm.
I think a lot has to be said also, though, about the many people who stayed and kept Belize afloat because Belize
Yeah.
has grown. I mean, we've gone in all kinds of crazy directions, but at the end of the day, we're still here and we haven't been doing that badly economically. Um, there's certainly room for improvement, right? But I would hope that at some point our people would say, you know what, you see Donald Trump, I get enough for you to tell me, call me alien and insult me. I would like to go and help to make my country great. I mean, I got no problem with no American wanting to make their country great, but how do we make Belize great? And you are here now, and I hope you're being a part of that move. So you're going to run for Dangriga, Sangriga, what constituency?
Dangriga, well, it's just Dangriga, but there's Dangriga, Saraway, and Hope Creek.
Yeah.
Saraway and Hope Creek are not that far from Dangriga, just kind of going out, so to speak.
How you feel about the redistricting exercise?
I think it should have been done a long time ago. it should have been done a long time ago. It's unfair. It's unequal. Unequal representation.
Yeah, and Joe, because Joe has a different view, or is it Joe that you just don't see the need for it?
No, I think evidently the Constitution was quite wise enough to recognize that there should be a need for divisions to be as equal as possible. I understand the economics of it. I understand the social implications of it. My only concern was that perhaps those who are advocating for it, and I support them 100%, that we need to review what is it that is in Section 90 of the Constitution, and hopefully to have some amendment done to remove ambiguities in it.
But what's the ambiguity, Joe? Because we've been talking about this. What's ambiguous about equal or near to equal? Even in a Creole, you know what that means.
If you look at the choice of words in the Constitution.
Yes, those words, because those are the exact words.
Right. When you begin to talk about to make it as equal as possible, reasonably possible.
Right.
What is that really? When there is
Joe, we're not children. And the voting populace, the electorate are over 18. Anybody understands what that? Cyril, do you understand? Susan, do you understand what equal or almost equal means?
Yeah, I'd like to hear from them what it means. Yeah, let me hear what it means.
It shall be equal or near equal. So what's the average? 6,000 is the average. You have one area in Belize City that has over 2,000, less than 300, 2,200 and something. And then you come to Dangriga that has over 6,500. You go to Stan Creek West, that's over 10,500. That there's no equal or near equal there. I mean,
regardless of how you cut that. Regardless of how you, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I want to chime in too. BT Guna, Mr. Cyril, and Mr. Joe, good night.
Good night.
Mr. Reid, when we had Mr. Enriquez on, the comparison that he used was currently Toledo and Stan Creek has only 2 representatives. And his recommendation that what it should actually be is 4 or 3 per Toledo, 3 per Stan Creek. That would make it a more equal or equal to.
It's obvious that the 2 political parties are jostling because they're worried that if they lose part of one constituency, they're going to lose some voters. But I think if they would look at the bigger picture, they're in there to represent the entire country. Most of those representatives, when they get ministries, they no longer even represent their own constituency. They represent the whatever their portfolio is.
But Mr. Chairman, would you allow me to come back on the question you asked me? Because I have answered it or attempted to, but I haven't heard a rational response, to be quite frankly.
What?
Yeah. No, I haven't. Let me explain to you why. When you speak of as equal as possible,
right?
If you look at other countries that have done it, they use what they call a threshold. The threshold must be the margin within which you must operate. Whether it's 5, 10, or 15, the Constitution did not make that clear.
Sure, you're the liar. You're the liar.
What?
You're lawyering us.
May I ask?
That one technicality that holds no water.
No. Technicality is important in law. So do not ignore technicality.
So, Mr. Koyi,
you have not allowed me to finish the point. All we have to do, and this, if you look at Dylan Vernon's, Dr. Vernon's.
But see, you're bringing a lot of different references, man, and you're the straight.
May I ask
if you allow me to deal with one.
Right, stay with the point. Stay with the point.
There are 5 of them I want to raise, but let's deal with one. The ambiguity to say to make them as equal as possible. Then you're bringing some dynamics like the traveling, the environment, etc., etc. No,
but that's a different matter, Joe. You deal with that afterwards.
No, Mr. Chairman, it's not a different matter.
Don't go past ambiguity. Stay with ambiguity. What
Yes,
is ambiguous? What is ambiguous about
But you are
equal
not-
or near to equal?
Chairman, you are not allowing me to explain it. That's the
But
problem.
it's all night and we only got 2 hours, Papa.
No, but if you give me a time you want me to do it in 2 minutes.
And I hope at least only half an hour.
All right, give me half an hour. No, I am saying what the Constitution in the amendment must do, which we have the chance to do, is to put the margin of 10 or 15. Universally, it is believed that 15 is the high, and 10 is the reasonable. We have to do that. When the Election and Boundaries Commission put forward the proposal, the two parties were disagreeing with some of these divisions. I'm only citing one of the ambiguities. I can go on and name the 5 that same Dylan Vernon, Dr. Vernon cited in his article. And I think we should read the article. He is a doctorate in political science.
Yeah, but sum it up. Tell us what.
Summing it up, it is saying that because nobody is opposed to Section 90. Nobody is opposed to having the division.
Why is it not happening?
The reason why it is not happening is evidently because the two parties at this moment found it not necessary.
Well, that's it. So both of them are opposing to it? They're
Yes.
opposing. You
Yes.
said nobody's opposing it, Joe. You're contradicting yourself.
No. When the Election and Boundaries Commission, who has the obligation under the law to put the proposal to the Parliament through the Cabinet, which it has to be.
Yes.
When it went to the Parliament and then they sent it to the committee at the House, it was there where it remained.
But you're not, no, man, Joe, you're not selling us anything. You're not convincing us that of any.
I am trying.
Your point is that, hold on, let me speak. You're saying there's ambiguity.
Yes.
I'm asking you, where is the ambiguity? You citing all kinds of different people writing this.
One of the ambiguity is that the two sides.
But that's not the ambiguity. That's not an ambiguity. That's a disagreement. That's not ambiguity. Ambiguity is if you would tell me that you know what, G Mike, 5 and 2, there's sometimes it is not equal, but sometimes it is equal. That's ambiguity.
No. The ambiguity is that they have left out what's supposed to be the margin.
What margin? You don't need a margin for that.
You need a margin, G Mike.
The margin is equal, Joe.
G Mike.
Mr.
Koye.
Possible. Yes,
Mr. Koye, let me ask a question. Let's park the Constitution aside for a moment and use conscience.
Sure.
Even just let's go with our conscience. 2,300 in pick stock. Hypothetically speaking, it's almost accurate. 2,500, we'll give it 300. 6,500 in Dangriga. 10,500 Stan Creek West. What I don't understand is why we keep debating things that don't need to be debated. That I frustrated with that, with all due respect. We keep debating things like topics that is just, it shouldn't be an issue. It's frustrating.
Can I ask you the question? Do you believe that the judiciary is where we go to resolve differences between the executive and the legislature? Do you believe in that? Do you believe in the separation of powers? That where there's a difference, we go to the judiciary for judicial review. Do you support that?
You're asking me directly?
Yeah, directly.
That doesn't matter whether I agree or not. I'm talking.
It does matter because it's the judiciary as the bulwark of the rule of law.
Separation of power in what context? What exactly?
In the context that the matter was advocated by Mr. Enriquez and others, and I fully support their advocacy 100%.
Joe, is this a democracy? Are we living in a democracy?
As far as I know, we still are.
All right. Is it not the people, for the people, by the people? And what role does the people play?
The role
the people have a role to play?
Yes, the people have a role to play. And the people plays a role through the elected representatives.
Okay. But then when the judiciary comes in where? The judiciary tells the people
comes in that when there is a dispute as to the effectiveness of the Constitution, you go to the judiciary to resolve it.
Well, where's the dispute, Joe? Where is the dispute?
The dispute is simply this. Follow the case. Yes, the matter was taken up by the BPM in the first
But
instance.
you're arguing, I agree with Cyril. We're arguing things that don't need to be argued.
Exactly.
There's a
Man,
simple, are
No,
we gonna,
yeah,
hold on.
Chairman,
this is
I think the problem with us, I think the problem with us, we are not prepared to
No,
look.
no. You want to convince us on foolishness that is passe.
we're not
We don't
anymore.
these rules
If
anymore.
you allow me
Yes.
to discuss the matter with
Yes.
Mr. Cyril, I believe I
Man,
can get him to understand where the differences are right now.
But Joe, here's the point. You can speak until you make your point. You can't speak until you convince all of us that your point is valid.
My point is not to speak. My point is not to speak to convince all of you. I am speaking to try to bring what is in the facts before us. When we have the facts, then we give our opinion.
But Joe,
our opinions are not our facts.
Brothers.
Yes, if you allow me and Mr. Cyril to speak, you will learn something from it.
G-Mike, you asked one specific direct question. How do you feel about redistricting? We end up all the way here about separation of power and all.
But we end up there because all of us on this show right now, I have no doubt, every one of us support the redistricting, don't we?
So what's the problem?
Yeah.
The problem. Yes,
Mr. Koyi, I do want to mention real quick too that there was a council put together by there were both UDP and PUP members who was in charge to conduct this redistricting proposal paid by the Election and Boundaries. And this is a bipartisan issue. And I guess what these people on the body actually had put together wasn't anything substantial that the Belizean people can say, let's enforce this. I think Mr. Enriquez, who is also an educator, he said if he had to grade that report or that request, it would have been something like an F or way past an F. So there were people who were assigned to do this redistricting before election was called, and that wasn't done. And a lot of people, especially in Southern Belize, been crying for this fair representation in the government of Belize for 2-3 elections ago. And it seems to be a constant promise. And it doesn't really feel fair for Belizean men and women to participate in something that they don't even feel they have a fair representation, or their voice is really being lifted, or their concern is really being dealt with. And I think that was kind of the drive for that redistricting. So I just wanted to add that.
Can I say something to you, Madam? It is my opinion, and many others of us, is that the two parties have acted unethically. Not illegally, but unethically. I do believe they did. Now, the problem that is facing us, and we need to come to terms with it, is that the Election and Boundaries Commission did exactly what the law requires it to do, put the proposal. Now, once the Election and Boundaries put the proposal before, normally it goes through the cabinet, yes, but it's to put it before the parliament. And it went to the parliament. When it got to the parliament, and they refer it to the subcommittee of the parliament, it was there where it left. The two parties, the PUP and the UDP, both of them did not support the proposal. To me, I believe that they could have come to some compromise and do the redistricting long ago. But for us to sit and begin to make statements which are totally have no
statements. Hold up. Because what you're doing is you're casting blame. You're saying who's to blame. You're not saying why it's not being done.
I am saying it is not being done because evidently the ambiguity in the law is what they are taking advantage of.
Ambiguity. That's the question. We got a circle of argument going on here. Listen, you have how many people in Belize? 400,000? Wait, don't say nothing. You got 400,000. We have 31 constituency. I learned this in primary school, not even high school, that you divide 31 into 400,000, you will get near equal, if not equal. Simple.
Mr. Chairman, you see one of them. You see one of the ambiguities right there. You are dividing the population by 31 because the Constitution did not say the population. He said the issue was that he didn't say the registered voters. How many registered voters we have? 207,000. We don't have 400,000 registered voters.
But Joe, we're acting
But you are dividing the population by 31. No, it's not the population.
We're acting like children when we try
No,
to.
you are not understanding the law, Mr. Chairman, and that's what I'm trying to say. You divided 400,000 by the 31 constituencies. That's not. Is that what the law is saying?
I'm giving you an example, Joe.
No. Is the Constitution saying
who you want to divide? You want to divide the electorate? Just the registered voters?
May I ask, G-Mike?
The registered voters by 31, and you get 6,000 and that. That's what the average is.
Go ahead.
G-Mike, see, listen. We are used to Mr. Joe Koye. I've heard of you. You're an elder man in my culture. In the Garifuna culture, we respect our elders. However, I have to say, politicians do this thing where they move their lips and words come out and it means nothing. I'm not saying that that's what you're doing, but you're saying so much that it's creating a lot of noise, with all due respect, because this is simple. This is a simple situation, and this is part of the problem that keeps us where we are at. We want to debate and nitpick and go around corners. Is redistricting right or wrong? Should it have been taken care of 10 years ago? Yes or no? This is simple. I have the spreadsheet right in front of me right here. Like we have Mesopotamia, 2,253 electorates. Fort George, 2,566. We're going up to Dangriga, 6,213, going all the way up to Stan Creek West. We have 10,597, almost 10,600. What is there to debate? I mean, why can't we agree on this?
Mr. Cyril, you know what we're supposed to be debating? Why is it hasn't been done? No. What you are saying is factual. We all know that there is a serious inequality within the 31 divisions. We all know that. That's not to be debated. That's a fact. We have to ask ourselves, why is it has not yet been resolved? Why did it go before the court?
Because, and why is because the powers that be, they don't want to change it. It doesn't benefit them.
But let's follow through. Let's follow through. It went for a judicial review, didn't it? Did it go for a judicial review? Did it?
Yes.
All right. What was the outcome of the judicial review?
It was unsatisfactory. It was a presentation that wasn't even...
No. Did you agree with the judicial review or not? Did you agree with what the court decided or not?
Joe, you brought it up. You tell us what it was. What was the judicial? What did it say in a nutshell?
What the court did was to say that the advocate, the lawyer,
right,
had no prima facie evidence to support the claim that he was making.
What?
Yes.
Are you saying that? So you're saying there's no inequality? That's what you're saying.
To you what the court said, man. You want me to read?
I don't want to hear that. Listen to me.
We are talking about the court decision. If you don't want to talk about the court decision, then don't talk about it.
You speak the language. You don't want nobody else talk.
It's a rule of law, Mr. Chairman. It's a rule of
law. You have to learn something sometimes. I hear to
listen. I am doing what I am doing out of love. Let me set the stage for this. Whatever I am doing, it's passion that's driving me. Okay, I've been up before 4 this morning, no complaints. Happy. I made that decision because this is serious. I'm saying all this just to say this show was set to start 7 o'clock and it goes for 2 hours. You said, G Mike? Yes. I'm assuming up to 9 o'clock.
Yes.
Do we have an agenda? Do we have pointers, things that we're really going to be talking about? Because this is not. We're not. This is not.
But see, we usually, with due respect, we go with the flow of the show. This show, because we do this every week. And I this is a labor of love. I don't get a penny for this. And I'm up this morning from 4 o'clock. I don't wake late. I wake early. So that
So
part
this,
let's be real. This is a very important issue, the registering. It doesn't matter whether you run or not if we don't have this figured out, because we got to figure out how we're going to work the electoral system that it works for the people. So that part, no, we're not, trust me, that I do this every week, and I know I always have an agenda. But if a matter comes up like this that requires a little extra, we'll use it for that, because it is important. Now, Joe has his one way of that, and I think the one old school thing is why we are where we are still, because
that's true. I agree with that.
They don't debate the issues. They put in the technicalities. They jump in why and start blaming and pointing fingers. At the end of the day, we have an equality in the number of voters out there. How are we going to fix it? We need to look at. But when you go to the court and the court says to Jeremy Enriquez, well, you didn't sign this with your finger, you did it electronically. Or, well, the lawyer come from Trinidad, he should not be here because he not got no prima facie case. Though the man bring all the evidence that you just pointed out, Cyril, all the disparity in the numbers. What more do you need? And then he didn't throw out the case because there's no disparity. That why you this is because there's certainly technicalities that you didn't adhere to, and that's crazy. And we have to stop.
You know what, Mr. Chairman? Let me say to you what the judge said. In the first instance, he said that it was to him unexpected that the application evidently did not meet the procedures of the court. And that alone, he said that it was unexplainable why it wasn't done. He said, but despite of that, he's prepared to look at the case. And that is when he came down to look at it. And that is when he said that there was no prima facie evidence. He didn't have to do that because the attorney, that they had, failed in procedures.
So we're gonna I'm gonna yield to Cyril, which is correct, because he's only here for 2 hours and we wanted to talk to him and get some of his ideas as to how we can fix this problem. Not that that's the redistricting problem. God, that's a small part of the problem we're faced with here. We got serious problem in our whole electoral process. Cyril, are you convinced that the whole electoral system is working? I mean, do you think that if you go and your voters do come out and vote, that you will be able to represent that area and do a good job of it?
Of course, you asked me 2 questions, but before I sign off on this, one thing I want to say about this, and this is me walking out of this topic, the redistricting. Who's responsible? Who puts their signature last to say that there will be a general election? Who signs off?
Isn't it the Governor General?
The Governor General. Who appoints the Governor General?
The Prime Minister?
No, the Prime Minister recommends the Governor General.
Well,
but we're on the.
Has that recommendation ever been denied? As far as you know?
So well, yes, and no. Joe, the influence me to get into this.
You see it? Now what to say?
But listen, on a serious note, right? So the king or the queen, in this case, the king, because there is no more queen, the king is the one who appoints the Governor General based on the recommendation of the Prime Minister. Now, the Prime Minister will always recommend who he wants or who he could control. So when it's time for election, when he's ready to call election, he knows he has to go to the Governor General and he knows he has a guaranteed signature. Brother Jerry and his attorney, they sent letter to the Governor General. What did the Governor General do? Sends it to the attorney of the Attorney General. What kind of madness that? You see, so all of that needs to fix. How do we fix it? If we are serious about fixing it, we really and truly have to be serious, because that's the root. We got to fix it right there.
How do you feel about a fixed date for election?
A fixed date for election?
Correct. We know when there'll be an election every 5 years, and I think 4 years. How do you feel about a 4-year term as opposed to a 5?
You know, you throw that one for me unexpected. I have to wait. And why I said that, because it will work in some people's favor and others it won't. We already know that it's 4 to 5 years. Let's just say it's 5 years. I think it don't make much of a difference, because, like, for example, here in Dangriga, this was just brought to my attention. Before the era rep for Dangriga took office, he promised that within a year he would open Commerce Bite. Okay, now we're in the fourth year. And it's just now. If you come to Dangriga, you will pass the roundabout when they dig up sand and Doaka. I don't know. I really wasn't trying to use this opportunity to complain, but that's what's happening.
Ambiguity.
Mud.
Ambiguity. He didn't say when he may do it. He said he do it.
Exactly. Right. So scrambling to for what? To show people that they're doing something like we're fools.
But Cyril, we are fools. It works every time. What are you talking about?
And that's another thing, Mike. How could we make predictions that are so accurate? There was what's his name? Philip Cass put out his prediction a couple months. I think it was in the month of May of last year, as to how Cyril Rouet will make it, how this one, and this is almost accurate. I'm like, you gotta be God to do that, right? But they have a system in place that they have perfected it's like sheep pans, where you don't know how you are moved by your pieces and it will work. So we are the problem, the people.
Well, that is something that Joe will agree with you too, and he harps on that all the time. We have to do our share.
We're the problem.
We don't do what we need to do. I mean, right now, all right, if we want the redistricting, all we'd have to do is get up and say we want it, everybody protest, go and lead demonstration. I bet you'd have the redistricting. I bet you.
Of course.
But how are you going to get people unless you pay them? And let us go back to campaign financing, because I was asking Susan earlier.
Yeah.
Why does it take so much money to run an election? You're running for an election. Why? Why the T-shirts? Why the flags? Why the advertising? You know who you are. You're qualified. You go out there and you do the groundwork with your people who will vote for you. You don't need to convince the whole country. You need to convince your people, and your people will put you in.
Mr. Michael, I did want to answer that question, but at the same time, Mr. Cyril had came on, and I was telling you that Belize naturally had developed this tradition of where they buy votes, right? It becomes a norm. I think the sense of helplessness that the people are actually in, the morale is high. So they're not getting up, putting on their cultural wear, putting on their very best and going to vote. They're actually going out maybe to even get something to eat that day. So naturally they play into that system. You know what? I'm going to put on this blue shirt, this green shirt. I'm going to go get $50. Go put my finger down, put my name down, and go to the market, buy something, and go home, right? It's become a tradition. It's become, Belize has been known for having unfair election practices. They have the voters registration. I think this election being called early is actually very much a voter suppression, right? A lot of people who works out of their voting district, who has to go work maybe in San Pedro, but is from PG, I don't think financially is going to be able to really afford to go home and vote such a last minute. I think is what 1 month they had
I
to.
don't know. I don't know.
So
I find those are excuses, number one. Number two, it's not really being called early, because there have been the last 3 or 4 elections.
Well, it was called in November, right? November is so far
but that's
away.
why I say,
March.
all right, I come back to why not set a fixed date. Like in the US. In the US is the first Tuesday in every November.
Yeah.
Is it?
No, now that I had more time to chew on it, G Mike, I agree. I honestly agree. It
would be better.
Yeah.
It would be better. We wouldn't have all these jokes and It's called doggery and thing, man, you know?
Yeah,
Correct.
this year it just called like that. If you're not checking the pulse, and I mean, I've heard there were whispers and rumors that election set for this, but it's
Right.
not confirmed. It's not certain, right?
Mhm.
So I think I agree with you. I needed some time to really chew on it, but now that I'm listening, it
Mhm.
would be
I
good
think
to
we
have
should have a
a
set date. Let's make it fair. I
yeah.
mean, 5 years are a long time to for allow a party with the fool. So but let's deal with that later on. But for now, I think the first thing would be let us set a date for elections. Every year, we know when we're gonna have an election. You wanted the prime minister saying like March because the weather nice and people got it. Let's do that then. Every year we do it on a certain date where we know the people can come out and vote. How do you feel about the diaspora voting? You, Cyril.
I think they should allow the diaspora to vote, especially those who haven't really given up their nationality as Belizeans.
Okay, well, those are the ones I'm talking about. Because once you give it up, you go to jail. Or Trump could take away with your citizenship for sure.
Right,
Uh,
right.
but would that work in a way where they vote by proxy, or that they would have to come in and vote?
That's a tricky thing. I'm not sure if my question would be, is our system, the technology effective? Is it tight knit? Is
Yeah,
it secure?
I don't think it is. To answer that question, I don't think it is to
So if it's
accommodate
not,
proxy
then they
vote.
have to come in
Yeah,
until
yeah.
we get that sorted out.
But of course, Joe, let's go to the law now, Joe, because to vote, you have to be a resident for what, 3 months?
3 months, yeah.
That's the law. So I mean, but I think there's some things like that you could look at and waive, because there are people abroad who are still involved in Belize. They contribute to Belize. They do a lot for Belize. All right. And they're in fact, I get news from some people abroad before I get it from Belize. So they are still very much Belizean. And I would think that if they want to vote, they should vote. Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
but
I
Can
agree.
I chime in real quick on this, because this has been also a issue that plagues the Garifuna community, where a lot of them who is Belizean and live in the diaspora actually doesn't even vote in the diaspora because maybe of their legal status. And where Belize could easily set up an infrastructure where once you have a legal Belizean social security card and you can register online, these things can happen where it would facilitate Belizeans feeling secure in placing their vote home, where some of them do have legacy land or ownership of properties or business in Belize, but still not able to vote for a representative to be able to say, this is who I want to represent my affairs there in Belize, but still doing business with Belize. So I think that would be a good initiative to put
can I
forward.
ask you all a question, Mr. Chairman?
One second. I would question the term easily, though. That would not be an easy process. But go ahead, Joe. Yeah.
It seems to me that there are times human beings generally tends to act out of emotions, and that's inherent in us as human beings. But I would caution all of us, always allow our emotions to have the benefit of our intellect. Why is it? Give me the reason why you would like Belizeans living in the United States, living there. Why is it that you would support them to vote in elections in Belize? That's what I'd like to hear.
All right.
Give me-
You want me to answer that question?
Well, anyone here who wants to answer it, who
I
supports it?
I would say that as long as a Belizean, your sister Cyril lived over there for 15 years and came back to Belize. I lived 20 and came back to Belize. There are Belizeans that maintain their Belizeanness and their roots to this country. They're over there trying to make a better living. They're also very involved and very affected by the things that happen in Belize. I don't now. Everybody who knows me knows that I am staunch against any dual citizen running for office in Belize. And I wouldn't even support a person living in the States running for office in Belize. But I'm saying if you are not an American citizen, you're still a Belizean citizen, if you, as Susan is saying, might have some property in Belize, got ties to Belize, I don't see why they shouldn't be vote. And that is why I think they should be able to vote. Does that answer your question, or is that too obtuse?
No, it's not answering my question. It's answering the question I asked you. And you're
Oh.
giving your
how you figure that one? How you split that?
hold on, you're giving me an opinion based on because the person you're saying happens to be a Belizean and can contribute to the development of Belize, but lives abroad.
And probably does.
Yeah. So you are not interested in no taxation, no representation.
Well, that's a different thing because they get taxed anyway. Any money when they spend get taxed. You can't say they don't get taxed. They might not get taxed on the money they make. But
Which
Belizeans
residing in the United States are paying taxes in Belize? Tell me.
Every money they spend.
I am.
Yeah. Which taxes they are paying?
I pay land taxes in Belize.
Yes, because you own land. Yes, you pay land tax. You pay land tax because you own land in Belize.
And I have a business where I export herbs from Belize to the United States.
And you pay business tax and that.
Yes, I do. Right.
So
and, whenever I travel to Belize and I stay and I buy food and I do whatever, couple of weeks ago I did my budget for home and I realized that half of my income here in the United States actually goes to Belize every month.
So sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
All your indirect taxes evidently is paid by destination. So once you're in Belize, tourists, all the tourists that comes to Belize pay all the indirect taxes this country charges.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
No, they do not pay the direct taxes. They do not pay business tax unless they are carrying on business in Belize.
Mm-hmm.
I am not suggesting for one moment that we would want the diaspora Belizeans who retain their nationality, dual nationality, which with the dual nationality, they cannot run in election, but they can register to vote.
Mm-hmm.
The requirements that is being asked to remove, and if that is removed, then they can vote, is the residency requirement of the 3 months.
Right.
Yeah.
So you are saying then, remove the residency requirements of 3 months, let them vote but live in America, but we here must face the consequences of the decision at the polls. They will
We all would.
No, they will not be living here to face it.
But how would you know there'd be consequences? Maybe there'd be benefits.
Yeah.
No, but the consequences can be good and it can be bad. The problem is the issue I'm saying that where you are engaged in a decision-making process, you should be engaged to the point where the consequences you will have to face.
Yeah, but again, with the argument in a direction where not really got no
rational direction to take it. But if
it's not in the kind of time we have.
If we want to just throw something out there and don't discuss it, then fine.
Yeah, Joe, don't be cynical.
We're discussing, Mr. Joe. We are discussing. I think it's just a matter.
I just Go ahead. Sorry.
I know, Joe, and I know you're used to people just sitting down and learning, which is good because you have a lot to teach. But then you have to come to grips with a new reality where people are now discussing and asking questions based upon the facts that present themselves, not who's presenting the facts.
Let me share something with you, Mr. Chairman. If you have the interest on them, Mr. Civil, you are offering yourself as a candidate, I understand, from what I'm hearing, in Dangriga, right? You are as an independent.
Yes.
Is that true? Well, let me tell you this. I give you my utmost congratulations for the courage you have.
Thank you.
I must congratulate you. I would wish more Belizeans would begin to accept their role as citizenship in this country, rather than just going to the poll and vote and walk away and leave it to the politicians. Belize will only make the change for the benefit of Belizeans when Belizeans begin to participate behind the ballot box. In essence, we can lament all we want about a failed democracy, a failed economy. As Robert Reid said in his Beyond Outrage, I'm just looking at it because I was reading it tonight. He said, you can speak all you want about a bad democracy, bad government, but at the end of the day, if you only wanted to participate at the ballot box, then you will get the kind of government and the management you deserve. If we, as citizens of this country, stop the lamenting, stop the bad talking, and participate behind the ballot box, we would not have the kind of governments we are having today. So to the independent voters, don't take them and say, boy, they don't have a chance of winning. Quite frankly, that may be true. But from the fact you have the courage to go out there and to do it, tells me that you have an interest in your country.
Absolutely.
I do want to add to Mr. Koye. Mr. Cyril, why did you decide to run as an independent candidate instead of picking one of the current political parties in Belize?
Well, let me share a little bit of history. Not too long ago, in May of 2024, actually before that, maybe about 2 months prior, the Prime Minister announced that anyone who wants to run up against their current era representative, now is the time they can apply. I applied because I see what's happening in my town. I see what's happening around us. Our youths are. I could go on and on. Sometimes I try to share what's happening, and there's just so much information, so much negativity, so much like lack of opportunities, no jobs, poor drainage problem. Our town needs cleanup. Our beach, we have beach. I share this story. We have a river flowing through the center of the town. We have the beach. You take a boat ride, 20, 25, 40 minutes max, you reach different keys. Tobacco Key, Ranguana, bread and butter, Coco Plum. You have so many keys. You go west, we have waterfall, right? We have zip lining, we have caves, we have all of that. Dangriga is just positioned perfectly to capitalize on tourism. We have our culture. We have the music, the dance, the food, everything. We are an indigenous people. And yet still, we are the poorest, it seems. So go ahead.
Would you look to tourism then as the savior? Are there other areas that you would look to? What about agriculture?
Absolutely.
What about
Absolutely.
agriculture?
The culture is part of tourism. The culture is part of tourism. I mean, tourism is just, thank you. It's, you got to pick it apart. It has so many dimensions.
But Cyril,
right?
Cyril, COVID did show us that a very fragile industry, and there's no, you can't really put all your eggs in that basket there.
No, I'm not saying I'm going to put my eggs in all of that basket. I'm not saying it's only tourism I'll focus
What are
on.
what are some of the other areas that you would look at to improve the conditions in Dangriga that you speak of?
I want to look into, one thing I've been looking into is music, taking music seriously, right? We are talented. We have paranda, punta. We have genres here in Belize that are original. What I've been working on, I have relationships with music producers, artists in Nigeria, other countries. I actually have a ticket booked to Nigeria right now where I will go and meet some people. We're talking about fusing Afrobeat, paranda, punta. Imagine how many people they have in Nigeria. Millions. My thing is we can't focus on just Belize. And some of the concerns, some people are concerned that, okay, let's just say you get in. PUP has the majority. They're likely going to want to box you out. I don't intend to depend on central government. While we will definitely fight for our fair share, but I don't depend to just, I'm sorry, I don't expect to just depend on that. I have to go out and get it. There are so many other avenues. There are so many other avenues. I have a project, an ongoing project right now.
Can you allow me to come in on this topic here with Dangriga, or this Sangrik district? When it comes to Belize becoming a country where the performing arts can be industrialized and commercialized, as I think we should have, Dangriga is most suited to springboard the industrialization of the performing arts. And I know that for the time I have lived there and been there. Secondly, Dangriga has one of the most advanced areas for the industrialization through agriculture. And it has shown it before.
Mhm.
I know of friends that I have in tourism that was out there in tourism related to me. We have tourism business. We are in the Placentia area. But I can say this to you, that there is no doubt that when it comes to that performing arts, which should have long ago become an industry in this country, Dangriga is most talented and suited for it. That's why we call it what we call it.
Culture capital.
Culture capital.
Can
Exactly.
I? Can I?
What we need here now, I will finish with it. This is where I am talking about leadership.
Mhm.
And this country is going through, I think, a leadership crisis.
Yeah.
And that is what we're supposed to stop and begin to ask ourselves.
Cyril,
I'm starting to like you now, Mr. Koi.
let me give him a minute. He'll have here. Mario asked a question. Why do you think you need to be in politics to promote music? That maybe you could do that outside of politics.
I've been doing it outside of politics. The brother is right. I can do it outside of politics. I'm not getting into politics to solely promote music. But what I do know, if I get in, this is my thing. We pay taxes all the time. Every single thing I spend my money on, I'm paying taxes. Right? All the residents of Dangriga, we are paying tax on every item.
Mhm.
They get to decide how they spend our money. So some say, man, you don't need politics. Man, I know the message politics. See, I had that mentality once. But when I realized when you add up everything that we are spending, all the taxpayers in one, the millions and dollars that just POP just host a big party last Sunday just to what? Show how many people can wear blue shirts. What did we really benefit from that party? What?
Well, Susan answered that question because Susan thinks that people got to only come up with a need.
Who pay for it?
They
Who
need
pay for the
The
party?
Belizean people. The Belizean
The
people.
Belizean people. So let me finish.
The party gone war chest, you know.
The Belizean people pay for the party.
I don't know.
The
Joe, who
Belize-
pays for that party, Joe?
The,
But I thought that you were a big contributor, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, I am. I know the
but I
party.
want to stay on point, G Mike, with the talk about music, the Belize Music Fest. It is estimated that they spend over $1 million, close to $2 million on that concert.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, so I met with one of our legends about 2 weeks ago, maybe before elections. I met with Poots. I'll call his name because it's known. This is not a secret. I see Poots, you go visit Poots. First time I've been wanting to visit Poots for the longest. I asked try to get Poots number. First time I visited Poots. Man, I'm when I say Poots and how Poots, they're like, yo, we can't left our legends like that for live like that. Paul Nabor, look how Paul Nabor contributed to this country.
And the
with the girls
Palacio,
collective
Lila Verne,
and
Miss
the
Lila Verne.
and the Palacio. What do they left? What did they leave for their children? What legacy? We know that. Yeah, he was a great artist. He helped put Belize on the map. You know, so I want to make sure it doesn't matter which artist, Reckless, Super G, to the youngest, Hugh B, that when these guys get to a point where they're retiring, they are live good. We need to take music seriously. Election time, everybody they go to the artist then for write a song and you know, for convince the people to vote for them. So G Mike, that's one of my areas that I want to focus on and I trust me. We haven't even scratched the surface of music and entertainment in Belize. It's a big business. When I manage artists, there's so many things that we don't know as artists. I'll give this one example and then I'll mute for a bit so you guys can comment or ask questions. I organized 2 concerts before that involved Machel Montano. I stayed with Machel, his manager, and his trainer, his fitness trainer. That's part of their contract. He has to travel with his fitness trainer. Now, we in Belize, you think if anyone are we say, oh, we, you know, at the Kermit Fitness, we are look like, who you think you, right? But we can do it. We can provide the education. We can provide the tools. We can provide everything that is needed for our artists to better themselves. We could get songwriters, invest in individuals. See, an artist doesn't even, they're used to just writing their own songs. Fine. If you could write your own songs, fine. But what they fail to realize, artists like Shensia, artists like Luciano, artists like most of these artists, they don't write all their songs. Songwriting is a big business. They don't write their songs. And I'll give you a chance right now, but check this out. What if we could get a team of people? Machel had volunteered. We were supposed to do this project with Machel where he would come bring his team of writers and they would stay in Belize for like 3 months and just immerse themselves in the culture and write and produce music. That's real investment. Not to come and sit down with our artists and just talk about things where we even fulfill. So that's one of my aim that I want to focus on. Go ahead, brother.
You seem to go ahead, Joe. You got something to say?
Yeah, Mr. Cyril, I want to share with you my experience I had with a friend of mine, Glenn Tillett, who was very much enthusiastic and passionate about the performing arts. And as the entrepreneur I am, I had to prepare what I thought was an investment model to springboard the performing arts in this country. And there were some things that many of us were not even aware of. You see, we think of a fan base of 400,000 people. That is not true. Belize has a base of about 1.5 million. Why? We have almost 600, 700,000 cruise ship tourists coming to this country. Another 400,000. What we were saying, that we could have catered to those tourists to springboard the performing arts and industrialize it. Evidently, this is an area where we felt that the government has a moral and public moral obligation to have supported it. Just as it has been done in other countries, in the areas where countries like Jamaica and others develop it as an industry, the government participated in seeding it. So there is no doubt that Belize has the potential to make the performing arts an industry and to begin to export. We can export because we have the talents. We do have it. The issue is that the entrepreneurs in Belize are more commercial people. They are more into buying and selling goods. And that is where they are making their big money because it doesn't take much to buy and sell. What we should do is to put some investment into the performing arts. And I think we can make it.
Hi, Mr. Koyi. I want to chime in real quick too, because I want to also talk about not only the artists. We have a prime minister currently who doesn't believe that Belizeans has any talent, right? Even the one them that already passed away. But what I want to say is we currently have a very, very talented Belizean poet by the name of Grandmaster. And the way how he's living and the way how he's being handled and dealt with is exploitive. They have a person who is running as a representative in Belize currently, who had him sign a contract that maybe at the time he didn't really understand, and he doesn't really have any rights to his work. Grandmaster, he's a living person in Belize, and so we definitely would like to see some sort of representative in the body who would advocate for things like this, the legalities of getting artists copyrighted or registered, even when they're dead. You know, that's what we're dealing right now with my mother-in-law, Miss Leila Vernon. Is
Let
she's
me
passed away, and instead of the government of Belize kind of chime in and really push some of that resources to these people and their family, it's not even happening.
let me have a few words. Let me have a few words. Let me read first what Mario is saying. If Barranco Village had a nice seawall and boardwalk and amphitheater, it could host world's music festivals. That's something for you to think about, Cyril. Let me. I was in New York City living. Polo Lightburn. Many of you will know him. And I used to hang out sometime. Polo is a guy that hangs with a lot of famous guys. And he took me one time to meet Frankie Paul. Frankie Paul did a very, very famous song. Frankie Paul had to buy his own records because of the way he signed away some contracts foolishly. I'm saying that there are two sides to what we're talking about here now. First of all, do our artists have the discipline, the hard work? Because you could talk about getting paid, and you could pay one artist all you want to. But if that artist doesn't dedicate himself and realize that this isn't about money, this is about me putting myself into my art and making it happen. And after it happens, you will get paid. Because if in particular, if you get a manager that handles your affairs well, you will get paid. The international community pays for good stuff. I heard a couple of songs by Asiatic, um, top notch. And when I heard that, I couldn't believe that man Belizean they sing it. And the Palasha, some of the songs that he did, top notch. You know, get Watina and them songs there are incredibly, um, I mean, professional done music. So we got this guy out of Benke, where the guy name will produce some of these. He
Ivan
produced
Duran.
Duran, you know, doing a lot of work. We got where the boy named Perote doing a lot of work with the artists. Are our artists willing to put in the work necessary to move this industry to the next level?
That's a good question, G Mike. If you ask me, I'd say no, and it's a 50-50 why they are not. We have a culture where we watch these artists on TV. We watch Lil Wayne, Slim Shady, Eminem, Jay-Z, 50 Cent, um, Kendrick Lamar, the performance that blew up the internet. If you really, I'm not sure if you guys understand, man, this is actually the perfect example to use. And any youth out there listening right now, they will be able to relate. The way how Kendrick Lamar influenced entire America, how he influenced topics on racism, sexism, all of this thing. This whole situation with Trump when he performed at the Super Bowl, right? But my point is this. We look at these artists in the States, these international artists, Burna Boy, Davido. We don't know what I would like to encourage each Belizean artist. Research on these people. Don't just listen to their music and vibe to it and you like it and it's your favorite Shensia and research on these artists. Listen to Tupac Shakur, one of the greatest writers. He's reading Machiavelli, he's reading the Bible, he's reading the Quran, he's reading Shakespeare. That's how he's able to write the way he wrote while he was alive. But then, if we want to create quality music, not only quality music, music that will last, not just a song that you can shake to and then you get out of style or you just dance it during November, but music that will last, the lyrics. So I would say no, because there's a lot of self-development that needs to be done, right? And An artist said this to me. More than one artist actually said this to me. Men, artists are usually prideful people. Like, for example, if an artist send you a track where you just record and produce, he's asking you for your feedback, but he's hoping that you come back with feedback where he want to hear. So if you tell the man, "Bye, I think you could change this," and you damn the man's spirit. If we're not quite open to just receive and listen, and so yes and no, and the 50% of the no is our leaders, our government. We don't invest much into the artists, into performing arts, into music, entertainment.
I get your point at the 50-50, and I'll tell you why. Because, see, maybe I thought this was where you were going. Many of these young artists need to look and do the research. How many doors did that individual have to knock? You hear one big song and a hit, and they make money. You know how many nights you talk about, you just wake up early this morning. You know how many nights they sleep, they go without sleep, trying to write something, to work on something, trying to get something relevant enough to catch the attention and the buyers out there, because they're two sides of this thing. While they need to get support, they need to put in the work and make themselves worthy of that support. And that's all I'm saying. Maybe we don't look at that side of it enough.
You're right.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to share with you the research I did when it comes to artists. And this is based on scientific fact. We do not really create artists. We can only nurture them. Artists are born genetically predisposed. That has been proven to be so. Now, it's the environment now that is to nurture them. And one of the things that has distinguished artists from us other human beings generally, they never follow the money. They enjoy what they are doing, and they do it so good that the money follow them. If you look at all these artists, look at the guy there, Tupac and all of them. The one that died at 25 years old. What's his name? The famous rapper. The gentleman, so we don't know him.
Biggie?
Biggie. He is in the St. Catherine Academy yearbook for a philosophical statement he made. And that went down there. He said, "You want to change the world? Look in the mirror. You must first change yourself." So when you listen to all these artists, you listen to them probably like Bob Marley. Bob Marley was just born predisposed. Unfortunately, the Caribbean environment was not conducive for his development. So he went abroad, and that's where he made it and came back. So you look at all the great artists in the world that we know of today. We don't create them. They're just genetically predisposed. But it's the environment while returning them.
While we're on the topic of education, Mario thinks that you need art education in schools and not just rely on the raw talent. You need to attract world-class acts to Belize by hosting world music festivals. So I didn't get that, but anyway, artists have the opportunity to collaborate and have access to venues and infrastructure. That is a part of it.
That's right. I agree with
Again, let us never look and miss the other side, because we have athletes also, excellent athletes. But when you go out there, you go to other countries and you see them guys, they run that track daily, putting in the work. You see for Willie Boy, then they crush up weed in a hand and they smoke weed all day long. That, I mean, it's all right for getting inspiration from that. But at the end of the day, you have to put in the work. And we need to keep telling our people that. Put in the work, and you're right, the money will follow you. You don't have to chase the money. The money will come if you make yourself worthy.
Another thing, G-Mike.
Sorry, Mr. Cyril. You know why I want to interject here? That is why I'm saying that the state has a responsibility to help to create that environment, because in the end, the nation will benefit when the state invests.
Right.
And in the artists and the performing arts, this country has a great opportunity.
I agree. And you asked me earlier, why am I running? Why am I doing what I'm doing? I can proudly say that I am self-made. I invested in myself, self-development. And I honestly, sincerely genuinely hope that there's going to be a youth out there or several youths who will look at Cyril Uruwe and say, damn, if he could do it, it is possible. If he could do it. So this for me is a huge step, and not because I am the only one making the step, but I also have to give credit to all the supporters out there. Now, this might be the first time, and I'm kind of stepping away and looking at this whole situation from the outside in without it's like looking at myself in the picture as well. The amount of people that are coming and calling, and now an independent candidate is being looked at as serious. This is true. So it is rare that we find this in Belize. Oftentimes, an independent candidate, it is almost guaranteed that, yeah, well, the man might scrape up maybe 100 votes, maybe 3, 4, 5 votes.
So you feel like they're looking at you seriously?
Yes, I don't know. I don't know how it will turn out on election day.
Right,
But what
right.
I can say to you, the pulse and what's been happening and the moving around and the nervousness from other people, this is serious. This is a game changer for Dangriga. It's a game changer for Belize. So to what Mr. Koi was saying, that one, it has to come from the individual. Now, for me, fortunately for me, I had a level of discipline where I could put myself to read a book and finish it. I have the level of discipline where I choose the people who I communicate with, who I give my time to. So if I have any youth looking at me, they might ask, why, how you do it? It's one of us. And most of these youths here in Dangriga, they know me. They know I was this guy right for back at Lakeland. So instead of seeing somebody who comes from a rich family, who have rich family ties, and then he's up there, no specific finger is pointing, but it's like, it's the norm. That's how it's supposed to be. So when they see Cyril Uruwe stepping up, they're like, we create doubt within ourselves and fear. And then we stick to the narrative that, oh, an independent cannot make it. Oh, a person of that nature or stature cannot make it. He doesn't have the financial backing. So this is an opportunity for us to rise.
Let us hope you break the mold. Let us hope you break that mold and prove that an independent can do it. Now, let's move on. As an independent candidate, we saw one story broke last week, and we were talking about the man in the mirror and looking at the mirror and whatnot. And I think you know where I'm going with this. You heard the comments made by Kaya Katus towards Tracy Panton, given that they have the same political party and whatnot, almost. No, well, I mean, they're different. I want a PUP, one a UDP. But
Yeah.
What do you think? Is there a standard that we should expect of these candidates? A two-part question. The second part, should we expect candidates to stand up and give a speech, present their agendas, have people know what they're looking for as opposed to just attacking the other person?
There are two things. One, I believe in freedom of speech. All right? I don't endorse anyone body shaming anyone. But when it comes to politics, it's nasty, it's dirty, it's brutal. Now, with what Kaya did, that's on her. For me as a voter, I will listen to you, look at you, see how you're treating your fellow brother or your sister, and I will decide. Now, for Tracy and her team, that's a moment for her to capitalize on and say, oh, you look at what she's doing. She's body shaming a woman like herself. So for me, I step away from the situation and look at things with what I refer to as perfect equanimity, where I disconnect my emotions from everything and look at it for what it is. Is she better looking than Trace? I don't know. It depends on
Oh, come on.
you like.
Yeah,
No,
come on.
Chief, wait, hold on.
Yeah, you're going right down the political road.
No. I am not. You see, this away.
Yeah.
I am not, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
I could take what Kaya said with no kind of sentiment at all. That's me. I could give you a reason why. I practice yoga. I practice meditation. With yoga and meditation, it's about bringing the mind and the body, the spirit to balance. You don't let anything outside of you affect you.
So you're looking at the spirit as opposed to the body.
Exactly. So that's for me. I'm honestly telling you.
You never ask if you got a good spirit or you never ask if you got a good spirit or a better spirit. You ask if it look better than the next one. How are you as a man that looks at a woman? You see, Susan.
It all depends. They have men who prefer skinny women. They have men who prefer women that are
left it alone, sir. Because
no, it really depends.
No, listen, I see that in the US that usually when people run for office, they stand up and they present an agenda. They stand up and they greet their constituents, the people getting ready to vote for them. Is it maybe time we expect some of that? How about town meetings? We used to have town meetings one time.
Yes, I am actually
sorry. Well, now that you mentioned town meetings, yes, I didn't invent it, but I was the mayor that introduced town meetings to Belize City. No? But what I wanted to share with the gentleman here, the time I spent in politics, and I ran against a good man. I ran against the Prime Minister Esquivel, and I defeated him. But I defeated a good man. But I never believed that I will rise by pulling down. When we are in this noble profession, this noble calling of politics, we must rise on our merits. We do not rise by pulling down our opponent. Get rid of that crowd mentality. None of us will get out of the barrel that way. And that is what I would have to say about anybody aspiring for this noble calling of politics.
I agree. I want to join in real quick, guys. Before we go into the town hall, I do want the Belizean in the diaspora to know that they can contribute to Mr. Cyril campaign. You can Zelle, and you can be starting his contribution at $3, all the way up to $1 million, however much money you want to donate. Even if you're not able to vote, but you feel as if you have something in you that you would like to share. And this money will be used for him to be able to travel to Saraway, Hope Creek, and even within Stan Creek. He is doing this independently. The time for the election was really called short. And so we are trying to gather as much as funds that we can use to mobilize him and a group on the ground to be able to go and touch base with this community. And so we're asking the diaspora to please contribute. We are starting from $3 up. Feel free to Zelle. The information is here on the screen. And also follow Mr. Cyril's website page for updates coming up to the election. He will be updated as well. So I wanted to add that before we close.
Cyril, I don't know if you saw what was on the screen, but a gentleman wrote something there. I took issue with. He said, if the great chief Chatoye could not convince his people to follow him, then good luck with that. This was written by a guy, Usher, and I think there's some, I don't know if he's going for or not, because here it is. If the great Joseph Chatoye couldn't get his Garina group to believe in him, then good luck, brother.
Can I answer that?
Well, let me say something first of all. I from my research, Chatoye did get his people to follow him, and he was a great chief indeed. They followed him. But go ahead, Susan.
Yes, can I please chime in? This is perfect because Mr. Cyril is running for Dangriga, and there is a Gulusi Museum in Dangriga who is connected to Chief Chatoye. So there are people currently living, young people, middle-aged people like myself, and older people who are still moving with the Chatoyer spirit, the mind, the mentality. We do recognize the injustice that has been done to our people. And so it might seem like we are not together, and we actually are. So that is not true. And I don't even really want to say that Mr. Cyril shouldn't go down that road with that person,
Good.
because
All
they
right.
are actually a movement of people who are still moving with that justice call that Chateau A did move with. For
Well,
example, I do want to highlight that currently the island of Baliso in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the Greater Garifuna Nation, ones at home, ones in the diaspora, are currently acquiring, helping the SVG government acquire that island for us to do our pilgrimage back home. We would
Yeah.
hope that Belize and Guatemala and those people in those countries also would jump on that support, and that
you're going. You're going.
The
We can
Belize
talk about
government,
that. Let's talk about that on a show, because that's a good topic
right?
there. But,
And Reid, I wanted to highlight that because sometimes it seems like our people are not supporting each other, and it's
yeah,
not
but
true.
see, the guy posted that, and Cyril did say he believe in freedom of speech. So I just put it there, but it's done.
Okay.
I don't think it's that significant at all, because certainly Chatoyer had his people behind him. The
Our,
whole I did some good research on
I
that.
still do today. Today, as of
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now, I
So
want the
let me
world to know that the people are still together. We are
good.
still together.
Let me go to Jeremy though, because Jeremy has a very important point here. Cyril has a unique opportunity as an independent candidate to have a significant impact on his constituency. One of the questions that the people of Dangriga would want to know is, what specific game changer programs can you share to build support? Cyril, it's on you.
sure. I want to go back. That's a great question, brother Jerry, and thank you for the question. But I want to go back to the previous comment. Yes, I do believe in freedom of speech, and Susan, thank you for your comment as well. Thank you for your commentary. It's what I see, G Mike, is this. I was interviewed today by Jules, and Jules come up with the same. Not that it's a bad thing, but he came up with the same narrative that, man, you know, your people, they might abandon this, that. We are used to a certain way of thinking. We have been conditioned to think a certain kind of way, and this is very serious. Each and every one of us. Apart from the general culture, the traditions that we practice every single day, we have our separate culture within our homes, right? So the reason why we think the way we think is because we accept what have been taught to us. And a lot of us are not independent thinkers. I was raised in a very strict Roman Catholic home. I can safely say that most or all of my families are Roman Catholic. I respect everybody's religion, but I detach myself from Roman Catholicism. I believe in God. I detached myself from Roman Catholicism ever since I was living with my mother. And she, as strong as she was, and as devoted as she was, being a Roman Catholic, she, at a later stage in life, she accepted that. She accepted her son going on a different path. Now, do I shun or do I speak negatively on the Roman Catholics? No. Everybody have a right to choose whatever religion they want to choose. Now, this is not about religion, but based on what the brother said, if Chatouye tried it, you're going to have to show me some history as to what exactly you're referring to regarding Chatouye trying to bring his people together. We have to understand there's this word we call dispensation. This is a moment, a dispensation we are in, moment of time, right? And we have chunks of dispensation. We have the moment before Hurricane Hattie in Dangriga, right? Where Garifuna people, everyone here in Dangriga used to, the tongue used to be busy. My elders, they teach me about this, where our own people have transportation going, they go to the banana farm, orange, everything was flourishing. Jetty Pier was open. They have everybody just busy working, having a great time. And then you have that Hurricane Hattie that hit. Most of our people went to the United States to search for a better life. And then some of them, they left their children with their mother, which would be the children's grandmother. Teenage pregnancy started, that became rampant. So we have to stop sometimes. Personally, for me, and the brother that mentioned the whole Chatouillet thing, we have to understand, until we take the time out to introspect, to assess ourselves, to decide who we are and where we are, and how we are to behave if we will elevate and go higher. Personally, for me, I made a decision.
You're speaking to your people now. You're speaking to your people now directly.
Yes.
Correct. No,
I made a decision, and this will go into what Brother Jerry commented as well. I made a decision to be an independent thinker. I made a decision to ask questions. I made a decision to research the history of what I have been told. I don't just stick to it and do it because grandma did it and ma do it and this one. We have a lot of diehard PUPs, a lot of diehard UDPs, only because their parents and grandparents were affiliated with that party. My mother was a diehard PUP. Oh, she was tell about George Cadle Price. That's how I know George Price's middle name. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known it, right? We have to take responsibility for our own self. We have maintained a culture that has been working against us. One of the things that I want to do, Dangriga is beautiful. Underneath all the mess that we have, underneath all the politics, underneath the ignorance and the arrogance, underneath the mess that we can actually see with our eyes, if we take time out to clean our tongue, to be responsible. What does it mean to be responsible? Are we responding? Right? We can't sleep and just behave like things will change if we just think about it. It is not going to change. So I took the stand to run up because I believe that there is a problem and I can do a better job. I really and truly believe that I can do a better job. In regards to Brother Jerry, one of the questions that the people of Dangriga would want to know is what specific game changer programs can you share to build support? We have to want it. I'm talking about cultural tourism. We already did talk about tourism. We have Hopkins, we have Placentia, we're already involved. But we need capacity building, right? You can't bring a whole tourism plan and then just throw it on the people. We are fail. We will fail. So capacity building, create programs. While I've been walking around, I've met two individuals who are into youth development. One of them, Cornelius, he has several youths who he's training to ride. And he tell me, man, if we would only could get help to get some bicycles, because 3 of these youths have to use 1 bicycle. That's something I would want to invest in and help them. We have another brother. He's not much on the sports end, but he's more into the mental development, which I am too. Mental and physical development of the youths. We have to be serious. If we're going to talk about change, we have to take action. I am taking action. It is possible. So I could go on and on and on. The multi-purpose park that they're proposing to build, or that they say they will build, we have to understand how it will benefit the community, not when it's being developed. Yeah, men will pour the cement and do that. They will have jobs. What jobs are you talking about? What will they be doing? Okay, the farthest I can see, they might have booths to set up booths. How much will one of those spaces cost? $50 a month, $150 a month. How will you help the vendors? I'm sure there's going to be probably a fancy restaurant or a fancy bar out there. Who's going to own it? So you can't throw this thing for Dangriga people and make we just show we a what 3D module, something will look spectacular and immaculately clean, and then we wait for another 5 years. That then when you turn it up, then you start put the fence up or start lay the foundation.
Can I, Mr. Chairman, follow up on that Jeremy question?
Please do.
It's not to dissuade you, of course, from running independent. You win the election, you are independent in our parliament that is dominated by either one of the two major political parties. How do you think that you will be able to influence or impact the parliament, our voters, to influence and impact the parliamentarians to get the things done that you think should be done? How do you plan to do this?
Very good. That's a good question. We have people, I'll start first with Joe Coy. We have people like G. Mike. We have Jerry Enriquez. We have so many, while campaigning, I've been meeting so many bright minds. I want to paraphrase Edison, one of the richest men in America in his time. He was in court. I believe he was taking someone to court. And the attorney of his opponent, let's call it that, kept throwing questions at him. How many soldiers went to this, that, and Edison, and he was looking, quote unquote, stupid because he didn't know. And the last line of inquiry, the question, and then the attorney come again with a question. And Edison said to him, I could follow, I'm paraphrasing, I could follow you in your foolishness. If I want the answers that I need, I just have to press few buttons. In those days, it was a touchpad. Now we have the iPhone, right? I'm not saying that I'm just going to call this, but we can bring wise people together if we're really serious. I don't expect to do this by myself. The President of the United States doesn't do it all by himself. The Prime Minister of Belize doesn't do it by himself. So once we have a solid plan and we connect with the right people, firm, strong, intelligent people, we can move this country forward. We can move our town forward. I don't expect to be prideful and arrogant. I will listen. And that's important.
You are prepared to cooperate with the majority in the parliament.
Absolutely. If it will benefit my people.
Yeah, cooperation. Horizontal cooperation. Not political.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So that's what I want my people to understand. Right now, as we speak, I have really good relationships with individuals in the POP camp. I have really great relationships in the UDP camp. So I am inclusive. It's important that we think like this.
Yeah.
We can't go with that old narrative.
Well, Mr. Civil, I hope that for the first time, I must tell you, I had the opportunity to ask this question, and I thought that it's about time it be answered. Running as an independent is nothing that one must just disregard, because a person can do it, providing that if he should succeed, he works with the others in the parliament and hopefully influence the direction for his community. And I think that is the way an independent-minded person offers himself in an election. Not as an antagonist, but to prepare to go there, and the virtue of horizontal cooperation, knowing that you have your people behind you who put you there. And that, to me, is symbolic of transformational leadership, not the transactional type that we have been experiencing over the last decade. So I like the answer.
Absolutely.
So we're running out of time. Susan, you I said you had a couple of things you wanted to discuss, and anything you wanted to.
Naturally, we actually covered some of the questions that I had written down. I came prepared. But, I do want to encourage people in the diaspora to contribute the $3 or more to Mr. Cyril Zell. And also, too, I do want to ask Mr. Cyril, why should the voters in Stan Creek and Hope Creek and Saraway trust you and choose you over the other candidate? There's one other candidate, because I think the UDP candidate actually was a no-show. So it's you and the POP candidate. Why should they choose you? Why should they trust you?
There's a verse in the Bible when Jesus talked about, he addressed a very poor woman who gave her donation. It was probably 2 pennies. If you're familiar with your Bible, you will know what I'm talking about. Don't quote me on the 2 pennies, or 5 cents, or 10 cents. And then there was this rich man who came with hundreds of dollars for his donation. And Jesus asked them, who gave the most? Who gave the most? Naturally, the rich man. And he said, no. That poor lady, all that she had, she put in the basket. She put in the basket. I walked the streets of Dangriga. Just the other day, I saw a youth, not even maybe 12 years old, being somewhat manhandled by a bigger person, trying to restrain this youth because he wants to go and beat up a young lady. He's angry, pulling away himself, shirt, they pull all the way up close to the ear. And I said to myself, my goodness, that what a young lady must have done a young man. And within a split second, the question changed in my mind. Where did all that anger come from in this little youth? What the frick? Where did this anger come from? I'm just thinking about it, it pains me. So I walk the streets of Dangriga. I see what's happening.
Did you stop the guy? Did you jump in?
I did. I went up. Good. I went up there. G Mike, this is why it pains me. I went up and I said, young man, try calm. Let me, what is it? What happened? I'm trying to really be as calm as possible. And the young man is just, no, I don't want to hear. Let me go. Really, really rough. The police came. A policeman on bicycle came. The first thing the policeman did, while he's walking toward this youth, I saw him taking out his handcuff. And I walked toward him, trying to nudge him. That's not necessary. In between the moment of me saying that and the policeman getting this young man's hand, I realized that it was necessary. I don't like to see a youth being handcuffed, put in handcuffs. 12 years old. He's in his uniform, school uniforms. But it was necessary to restrain him. The youth is out of control. So I said, where did all that anger come from? That's just one example. We have our women posting all sorts of pictures and then they get a bank account. Man, they get bank account. This is happening. Beautiful young ladies, intelligent. This is happening. We don't have that much opportunities. We need jobs.
We heard about that because the talk about isolated incident. The talk about something that is ravaging this whole country. The young people coming up. You spoke of the people who went to America and left their children with their grandmothers. And a lot of them grew up with no direction because grandma could love the picnic, but somehow, somewhere down the line, they not got that personal touch. For some do bring them up well, but there are a number of young people out there, and I've spoken to a number of people, and my impression has always been, what the hell kind of world are these kid children gonna, number one, meet? How are they gonna create? Will they be ready for what they meet when they grow up? And the question just has me a bit baffled. I don't see what are some of the plans. What would you start with to say, let us grab these children and try to make something of them?
Yeah, several things, right? As mentioned, I get in touch, I meet different people. Yesterday, I met a couple. One is a retired nurse, one is a retired enforcement officer from the United States. They lived in the States, they're home now to retire. I hear this story a lot, right? From these two individuals. We talk to this one, we talk to this minister, all they want to do is volunteer. That's all they want to do. Volunteer. They don't have nothing. These people are retired. They have their money set.
And
That's
they're
all they
running
want.
into closed doors.
Yeah. There's another brother a while back. He said, Cyril, this is before all this election thing. Cyril, I get in touch with, and I call the name. I told him this is a person that is well off in Dangriga. I told him, man, we road mess up, I meet you halfway for whatever he take to pave the road. You think the man capitalized on that? So as much as this, listen, this is not easy. It's not going to happen overnight, but we have to take the necessary steps. We have to work with the people that are willing to make a change. And part of what I will do is to sort out people that are interested in bringing change. We also need education reform. It needs to start at home and at the schools. We need to treat our teachers better so that they can do what they're doing with ease and with love. I know teachers who they are the parents in the classroom, they are nurses, counselors in the classroom, and they're also providers for these children at school. And yet still they pay. So they have a lot of missing elements.
Let us be real, because even if you were running for one of the organized parties, it would be a challenge. But you're running as an independent, which will be even more challenging. Are you up to the task? And will you? Let us hope that you're successful. I'd like to see that mold broken for real. But should you not be this time, will you maintain that presence in your community?
I will. I signed up, I applied in May, I was rejected, and I remain steadfast. I was rejected, and now I'm here.
Wonderful. Well, I wish you well. Guys, we're out of time. Anybody got anything else to say? Any final words, Cyril, that you would like to leave the audience with?
Dangriga, Sarawi, Hope Creek, I am here for you. I am here to fight. I will not relent. I will not relent. I am ready. I see the problem. You see the problem. And I want to add this. I said this morning. The two constituencies in Belize City that they're not having election. Why? They don't have nobody to compete against the era rep. That could have happened to Dangriga. That could have happened to Dangriga. There weren't going to be an election in Dangriga, and if they never may have an election, what may happen? The economy was going to be affected, at least for that day, at least. A lot of people want to sell food. A lot of people want to get paid, campaigners and all that. That wasn't going to happen, but it will happen now because I did not relent. I am here, and I now stop fight, G Mike.
So you give them a choice, and you think you're a good choice.
I know I am the best choice. I'm ready to go to work. Let's clean up this town. Dangriga could be better. Let's usher in the genesis of the golden age for Dangriga. This is not just start. If I fail, we fail.
Wonderful. Wish you the very best, Cyril. Suzanne, thank you for joining us tonight. Joe, as usual, thanks for being there, anchoring the whole move. People, we'll see you next week, same time, same place, right here. Read between the lines on See Smoke.
Thank you all for the opportunity. And Joe, I like you a lot more better. You make up for all that trouble you gave earlier.
He grows on you. He grows on you.
I love the man now.
He's a politician. What do you expect?
Respect.
Ayo, guys.
I am first a citizen.
General Lebo, ready for get no forgive. Aggressive, assertive, attentive, innovative. Black people representative. We wanna just lean back and check remotive. Sing out right now. You say me kill one another. Right now all the time. Feel the prayer to the Father. Right now. Believes under fire. Right now. Right now. Only you say me kill one another. Right now all the time. Feel the prayer to the Father. Right now. Spread the news to your brother. Right now. Blind lead the blind. Prophecies fulfilled. Signs of the times. When Satan billions them call it boycott. Granny scrape the pennies, but she cannot find a dime in the comfy. One more wrong and that them coke and wine. If vanity, then they try this time and kind. So them white get snatched up from behind and bleed to the eye when job bind the twine. Cause of them economy on decline. Moral fabric of society on decline. Ecosystem on decline. Them could have been started all day. One thing they can't find, and that's a peace of mind. Sing right now, you say me kill one another. Right now in the time, really pray to the Father. Right now, please and right now, you say me kill one another. Right now, and that time, really pray to the Father. Right now, spread the news to your brother. Right now, right now, them boy move savage. Poor people need 10 more stimulus package. Food, but don't cause all the damage. Boom. Yes, I know, find nothing in the wreckage. Big cigar, hunting cottage. Why you see the globe check? Horse and carriage. Look like they want with it start eat out a garbage. Bump that, red that, melon flip bust like cabbage. Wake up. Sewage, junk stomach to digest all the carnage. Poor people not forgetting no left wing, so them left way. The whole is thinking luggage. Luggage, them boy, what did you get the message? Read the Bible, but miss certain passages. Collins, up to Cockney. Once again, Collins. Right now, use them, they kill one another. Right now is the time, fully pray to the Father. Right now, bees under fire. Right now, right now, right now, right now.
fulfill. Signs of the time when Satan keep billions and call it white collar crime. Granny scrape the pennies, but she cannot find a dime in comfy. One more rang and that them coke and wine. If anything then they try mankind. So them might get snatched up from behind and bleed to the eye when just bind the twine. Cause of them the economy on decline. Moral fabric of
that the Fred don't say, all haters could just raise up like they got easy on it. Incognito, like Nick Romano. We live with life in a stealth mode. Offer them begs when we touch road. No half a clip, we carry the full load. We keep the pedal to the metal, the floorboard. We live life in a stealth mode. Cause enough for them begs when we touch road. No half a clip, we carry the full load. We keep the pedal to the metal, floorboard. You like the game, but the game not like you. You only talk big when you're along with your crew. But when you're solo, in the morning do skip to me loo. Remember say we come up from mud. We not just plaster, we apply mud. Y'all frantic like mud. You cannot stop the blessings we come from above. We live with life in a stealth mode. Offer them begs. No half a clip, we carry the full load. We keep the pedal to the metal, the floorboard. We live life in a stealth mode. Cause enough for them begs when we touch road. No half a clip, we carry the full load. We keep the pedal to the metal, floorboard. When they touch it, cool. Bars expensive like fuel. From jewelry. Directly from out of the jewel. Countrymen offer them fraudulent. Act like they know say dead permanent. Treat we like heads of state parliament. We have too much things we only talk about disarmament. Disarmament. We live with life in a stealth mode. Offer them begs when we touch road. No half a clip, we carry the full load. We keep the pedal to the metal, the floorboard. We live life in a stealth mode. Cause enough for them begs when we touch road. No half a clip, we carry the full load. We keep the pedal to the metal, floorboard. So snake, all in a church, them a leash like lurch. If we demise, then they constantly search. Me good name, them why they try to besmirch. Cause we they move enough merch. One of one. Tunnel vision. Myself than me own competition. That's why the arts that my religion. We live life in a stealth mode. Offer them begs when we touch road. No half a clip, we carry the full load. We keep the pedal to the metal, the floorboard.
smoke it on. Man say body. International. Oh, here we go. Me and me body with the comfy setting. Respect you, all Belizean prophets. Yeah, yo, yo. We know the secrets, think you the gunman. Man, me after the bag, no fi stop it. Me ball again. Me and me jet with the comfy setting. Respect you. Hi, hi. We know the secrets, static, and if you the gunman. Stop it. You have Lord Raven, Kenny Morgan, Papa Curly that the chase the boy named Sam Master Lee, Chico and Carlton Brown, Game Love, everybody run town. See when them youth decide to build a song, the concrete foundation so that they can't fall down. Some young are thinking a big fish get me included in the beat. Check on the teacher when them draw down the slate. Pay attention now the tune so intricate. Wicked style, no food. Me and me jet with the comfy setting. Respect you, all Belizean prophets. No, no. We know they seek no static. And if you the bad man, after the bag, no fi stop it. We ball again. Me and body comfy setting. Respect you. Wow, wow, wow. We know they seek no static. You the gunman. Please stop it. Don't forget about Mobile, Malaki, Mohabub, Ja'art, and the one on the B. Ross Sherman and me Peter, legendary. Ross Banner sing this song. She only want me plus the female artists like Heavy D, Rock Down Gal and Tanya C, Samika and me friend Sweetie. All about the roots and reality with
Reid with a Creole, but we no Nama with a Crofty. I am a royal coffee. My style sticky like taffy. You coulda holla say me ugly, but a loon pretty girl stay to chase me. Royal coffee, and my style sticky like taffy. How could you call me ugly when a loon pretty girl stay to chase me? Minor, tell you things you make you catch feelings. Your mere existence, you want left to examine. Ebenezer me gone, me know for the squeeze dumpling. Believe woman sweet like stew pumpkin. See me, but you don't know me. Confident. Say that me bossy. Inquisitive, you call me nosy. Defend me rights, holler at me chancy. Me know this show no mercy. We don't take no back chat from nobody. You know have feel like me, but you must respect me. Tell this more. I am a royal coffee. My style sticky like taffy. You coulda holla say me ugly, but a lone pretty girl stay to chase me. Me cool and deadly. Machine Gun Kelly. Machiavelli, stay ready like we have woman plenty, woman the city, woman the country. You coulda act like you don't want believe me. Ask the white, that me ballet. I am a royal coffee. My style sticky like taffy. You coulda holla say me ugly, but a lone pretty girl stay to chase me. Royal coffee, and my style sticky like taffy. How could you call me ugly when a lone pretty girl stay to chase me?
Lot of sexy woman come out of the valley. Me like the way the body move when them the party. Anna Piss White and Alta Leslie. And the one name Gilda Courtney. Dano Jam, Sadamus Jelly from me Lille. Me know where to do with me till it. Me grow up as a bedroom bully. Bucket with vein full up them belly. I am a royal coffee. My style sticky like toffee. They woulda holla say me ugly, but a lone pretty girl stay to chase me. Royal coffee, and my style sticky like toffee. How could you call me ugly when a lone pretty girl stay to chase me? I am a royal coffee, my style sticky like toffee. They woulda holla say me ugly, but a lone pretty girl stay to chase me. Royal coffee, and my style sticky like toffee. How could you call me ugly when a lone pretty girl?
Yeah, this one I call breaking news. Remember say, news in news. Designed by the system to keep your man fused. Previews, propaganda, fake news. Distort your views. Big man compromise their own values. Yes. Watch when we sing again. Breaking news, news breaking. All I believe is starting. Breaking news, news breaking. For people just keep on suffering. Breaking news, news breaking. Mama, please stop crying. Breaking news. Breaking news, news breaking. Scratching my head, contemplating. I am very elated that they find Kelvin, even though the full overstanding. And what about the rest of people them missing? Families still in a mourning. Psychological desensitizing. So when the real hit the fan, it won't be alarming. Breaking news is distracting. They want we keep forgetting about McAfee and the shit eating. Mason, Pastor Lou beheading. Harley gun smuggling. Chinese man them killing. Passport duplicating. All the people under them keep on thieving. We need a solution for the gang banging. No fret, breaking news investigating. Breaking news, news breaking. All I believe is talking. Breaking news, news breaking. Most of it heart-wrenching. Breaking news, news breaking. Mama, please stop crying. Breaking news, news breaking. Scratching my head, contemplating. For years, we watch you no abuse, you no power. Most of things say we suffer from amnesia. Oppression, they pump for them agenda. By them aggressive nature. Cocaine is slip through the border, but for a weed seed, you get charged for murder. Forget about the threat from Guatemala. Like that, done on news, no money either. Election time, clipboard and paper. Then the fighter forget me Lee signature. Them say city, my life will be better. But a promise is nothing but a fool's comforter. No retreat, no surrender. Divided we fall, we stronger together. Add fire to the flame and blow lava on all of them politics stop. Breaking news.